What up, y'all? Welcome to the second episode of the California Stoners League podcast with your hosts, Mike Bogart and Knowledge. Welcome. Today we're going to be recapping everything we've been going through, you know what I'm saying? For the first week, we got the first recap. We're going to start it off a little different today. Bear with us as we're getting better at this. This is only our second episode. But anybody that's watching online right now, YouTube, that's not part of the league, that just stumbled across this on accident, it's a 14-man league. This might benefit you if you're in a 14-man league. A lot of the podcasts tailor-made more to 10 and 12-man leagues. So our league is, even though it's about our league in general and our personal teams, so all the players on our teams are also on your teams. So go ahead and like, subscribe, or whatever. If you like any of the content, it might be able to benefit you because we're talking more about in-depth things with 14 instead of 10 and stuff. So the week one recap, we're just going to do it real quick, not too long, because week one is pretty cut and dry. You know what I mean? There's not too much. You just draft your players, you throw your players in there, you kind of the ones you drafted first to be your starters, you throw them in and you hope for the best, you know what I mean? There's not too much else going on. So
start off with
basically, we did think we wanted to talk about two different teams that kind of out-projected or outperformed what we thought was going to happen in the league, and two teams that we thought were kind of underwhelming and underperformed for what we thought going into week one. So that being said, you want to hit them with the first team?
The first team?
Yeah, the first team for
underwhelming?
Yep, underwhelming. We'll start with the underwhelming first because...
Underwhelming is his team. It's Knowledge's team. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, it was a rough start for your boy. You know, telling two worlds. He had a great start. I had a bad start.
Yeah. I mean, he started Trey Lance against the Bears in Soldier Field, and it was pretty wet out there. And nothing was going right for both sides of the offense. So I think we just scratched that game so he could still have more confidence in Trey Lance. Okay, Austin Ekeler, 11 points. He played against the Raiders. We were expecting a bigger game from him, but we had nothing to worry about. So, but that's kind of why he kind of underperformed. You know what I mean? And then to see, he played against Nick. Nick went off though. To be fair, Nick was like one of the second highest scoring team in the league, and he did pretty good. So I mean,
also CeeDee Lamb too. Right?
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb was bad, and it totally wasn't his fault. You know what I mean? The situation of the game, and then Dak got hurt.
Dak went down. He did have 11 targets.
Yeah,
so.
That's one you might want to monitor though. But yeah, I think for right now, that's basically why it was an underwhelming performance. I think.
Yeah, I have to agree. It was definitely an underwhelming performance. Well, misery loves company. So since I'm down here in the slums, I'm gonna go ahead and bring another team with me. So Frank, you know what I mean? Frank the Tank, why don't you join me down here in Sorrowland where we suck, you know? He only had 95 points. I was expecting a lot more for him. To be fair, he had Dak Prescott, got hurt early, had to leave the game. Well, wasn't that early, but he didn't look that great. Then he got hurt. But either way, it didn't give him an opportunity to make up any kind of thing at the end of the game. He ended up with 5 fantasy points. Then you had Alvin Kamara, who everybody was wondering why they utilizing him like this, why he's getting so little utilization, barely any touches. Come to find out, he got a rib injury, which makes perfect sense on why they weren't using him that much. You know what I mean? And
that was another weird game too. I thought the Saints would really just blow up the Falcons, and that didn't happen at all.
So it became a different style of game, and then he just. More or less, I'm chalking that up to the rib injury. I feel like he'll be fine. They said they need to get him more involved moving forward, which obviously anybody knows you need to get him more involved when it comes to their offense. Moving to the better stuff, though, more positive note, the two teams that did outperform their capabilities, or maybe not the capabilities because anybody's capable of anything. It's fantasy football, and all these players are elite that you have on your teams, but just the rankings and everything we thought going into week one, we weren't expecting performances quite like this. So the first one, who do you got for us?
I got David.
No, Chris.
Oh, was it Chris?
Yeah, it's Chris.
Oh yeah, Chris. Wow, yeah, David did pretty good too though. Yeah, but Chris we all know Chris is the guy that goes to the draft to party.
Mr. Positive, you know what I mean? He's partying it up all the time.
Yeah, he tries.
Every year he drafts Roman Rivera with the last pick, and anybody not in our league, Roman Rivera is their cousin. So just one of the homies that's in the draft all the time, and every year for his last pick, he drafts him on his team.
So everyone tries hard, and Chris doesn't just try it.
Everybody has that guy in their league, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's our taco, you know what I'm saying? He finds his way to win, he gets himself good.
Yeah.
We weren't expecting much, but he hit 134 points. Is that what he scored?
Yeah, he hit 134 points with Patrick Mahomes. He had a crazy, amazing game. I thought he was gonna have a little a setback because of with the Tyreek Hill leaving, but he was just back on track with everything. 34 points, and he looked really good. Let's see, he got Cordell Patterson. Oh, a lot of people were thinking Tyler Algier was gonna do it, but Cordell Patterson ended up starting the game and playing every running back snap. I'm pretty sure. And then
like 20 plus, something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of touches.
The thing that did it for Chris, though, I think, was his defense. His defense got him, I believe,
18 points.
19 points. Yeah, that's what it was. That kind of boosted him a little.
That was a good move.
Yeah,
good GM move. Now, I don't know if he just kind of grabbed any defense and threw him in there, or he did any kind of, went with a team or a matchup. But either way, whatever his technique was, it paid out for him this week.
Yeah, so basically he won with Mahomes, Devontae Adams, Cordell Patterson, and his defense. That basically won him the game.
And then the other team that we thought did pretty good this week, was shout out to Isaiah. Isaiah before Zaya, the cool Munoz, the coolest Munoz in the league. You already know. He actually had pretty good, from Joe Burrow, got him 22 points, and he had a lot of turnovers. So that's a good little, put up 22 points with the sloppy game that he had, worked out really well for him. That's very positive for him moving forward. And then he also was able to get 20 points out of his flex spot from Jerry Jeudy. You know what I'm saying? After getting solid numbers, double digits all across the board from his other receiver. Keenan Allen ended up getting hurt, but he still played 10. He was on.
Yes. He had like 10 points before the halftime or something.
Yeah.
He was going crazy, dude. He would have had even major. Isaiah would have went even crazier.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. And then he was able to get 19 points from his defense. He had the Bucks D. He got himself 9 points from his kicker. So in his special teams and kicker, everyone sleeps on special teams and kicking. But if you think about it, he just racked up almost 30 points between his kicker and his defense.
Yeah.
So that goes a long way when you can hit those in the right, setting. And then the last thing we're going to talk about for the recap, we're going to go ahead and give our GM of the week. We'll do this at the beginning of every week. I'm so sorry we forgot. See, this is the second episode, and we're forgetting. We're supposed to start every episode with the joint. We are the California Stoners League, and as we recap last week, we're supposed to be smoking a joint while we do that. So let me just spark this up right here. Why don't you spark this up, and while I break down the GM of the week. So every week we're going to do this. Next week and everything, it'll get a lot more intricate because we'll have a lot more info to go off of. This week, like I said, it was pretty cut and dry for the most part across the board. Everyone just kind of started their starters. There was no real GM moves that needed to be made or anything like that. You just kind of start the guys that you drafted high and throw them in your lineup and see what happens, you know? But there was one person in our league that made some GM moves that was either going to make him the GM of the week or the donkey of the week. You know what I mean? Because he was either going to live by the sword or die by the sword. And that's for one of those reasons. But the other reason this man got the GM of the week is because he ended up winning his game by only 14 points. There's a 14-point spread between him and his opponent. Okay? And he ended up getting 22 points from his defense. We're just talking about defenses. And that's a weird thing to do, to have so many. His opponent actually had 30 points from his defense. But if he did not play that defense that got him 20 points, he wouldn't have kept him within that range.
Yeah.
And then here's where he really won the game. Week 1 of the NFL, he decided to bench Aaron Rodgers and start Justin Fields. I mean, I don't know who told him to do that, where he got that
Good
from.
job,
I was
David.
laughing at him before when I seen that, but great job, David. Way to get the GM of the week for week number 1. Grab yourself a win. You got yourself that win. You went out there. You had the guts. You made the decisions. That goes out there for everybody. If you feel it's right and you feel you have it, we can assess all this and put all the numbers together and do what we think is right. But you got to go with your gut. You know what I mean? You got to go with what you feel is right. He did it, and it turned out to be right for him. So congratulations, David, for getting the GM of the week. That week 1 recap. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into this breakdown of what we got going on and what we've seen and what we got going. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm excited about fantasy football. How did you feel? How did you like your week 1?
I loved it. It's the same as every week. I'm excited and glad it happened, and we waited all season for it, and it's always the wacky week 1, and everything goes not as planned.
See, I basically am coming on 0-1 right now.
Yeah.
Coming off a tough loss. Got my ass spanked. You know, basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But had Saquon Barkley, just ran all over me.
And you probably thought you were going to win, too.
Yeah, I definitely thought I was going to win. Of course I thought I was going to win.
Yeah.
But you, the complete opposite, highest scoring in the league. How are you feeling? Is there more of a high, right? There's more. You're feeling a lot better than I am right now.
Yeah, I am.
Week 1, just knowing that you got that first win under your belt.
Yeah. My team did what I thought they were gonna do. Every individual one. Cortland Sutton could have did a little bit better, but I mean, I had Gabriel Davis that sat on the bench that could have did even better. But I like my team. I'm really. I was kind of iffy in the beginning, but after yesterday, I know it's only 1 game. I'm really confident, and I think I can go pretty far. You know what I mean?
They put up a lot of points. You should be pretty proud of them. So basically, we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the eye test. You know what I mean? Basically, what did we see? The eye test says we all watch the games. You sit there, and sometimes the numbers don't quite speak for themselves, or sometimes the numbers do speak. You know, but when you're watching the game and you see a player and you see the way they run, that you can't quite. It's not the same as just seeing the numbers. You know?
It's not.
So just from watching the game, you know, let's break down a couple back and forth that we've seen that we liked. You know, I'll go ahead and start us off. And my eye test tells me that Saquon Barkley is back and primed to be an elite running back. I mean, for me personally, I always known that he's had the dynamic ability to be great, but he's been riddled with injuries. It's been a rough couple of years. He hasn't really got on the field, and when he has, it's been tough sledding. But he had 18 touches, 18 handoffs last week, and 7 targets. That's a whole lot of opportunities for him to get the ball, you know, to do good things with it. With it, he had 194 yards, a touchdown, and a 2-point conversion. Like, that's just finishing as RB number 3 on the week, or number 1 on the week.
Yep.
So he basically came through big for anybody that had him on their team. He whooped my ass big, and I was watching that game because I was playing against him, and he was just dominating. You know, he looked like he was running hard. He looked great. He looked like he was running with a purpose. And who else do they have? The biggest thing that I took away is the 7 targets. Yeah. They're going to be playing down a lot. They're not going to be, it's not like they can just feed him the ball in that aspect, but they don't have much other people. He's going to be heavily utilized in the passing game. He's going to be checked down for it. Remember, our league is a 1-point PPR league. It's a full-point PPR league with 14 men. So anytime you can get a guy with that much upside in a 14-man league in the running back position that gets that many catches, I'm just through the roof on him. Eliteness is here we go. That's what my eye tells me, and I'm excited to watch him the rest of the season.
Well, I got Cordell Patterson. Everyone was picking, like I was talking about earlier, everyone was picking Tyler Algier to be the guy there, and it doesn't look like it's going to be like that. Maybe later, but not anytime soon. Cordell Patterson had 22 carries, 120 yards, 5 targets for 3 catches, and 16 yards. He could have did a little bit better in the catching aspect, but I mean, 22 was it 22 points? Or 22 carries, huh?
22 rushes.
22 rushes, 120 yards. That's a workhorse, and we don't even think of him as a workhorse. He's a receiver, you know what I mean? Yeah. So and then like I said earlier, the Falcons impressed me with the way they played, and they won that game. They won that game, right? Yeah, they won that game, and I didn't expect this.
No, they lost.
They lost,
Will
did they?
Lutz kicked a 50
Oh, okay, 50-yarder, you had them, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, well, I mean, it was a close game, and they shouldn't even been in it till the end, you know what I mean? And Cordell Patterson is has a big role, and he's going to see basically what he did last year. I think he's going to do what he did last year from eye test, you know what I mean?
So for me, I would be a little careful, a little cautious on that one. I'm not slightly as high on he is on him. He's actually not as high on Barkley as I am, so we're kind of at odds back and forth with those two. But for me, Williams was actually seeing more snaps before he left with the rib injury. It didn't seem like they wanted Cordell Patterson to be the workhorse like that. It kind of seemed like they fell into that because Algier was inactive, and then Williams ended up leaving with the rib injury, which forced to utilize him in the way that they did with the 22 rushes. I mean, maybe that'll be a sign saying, hey, he can do it, and they'll continue to do it moving forward, and it won't be a problem. But I would just say monitor that. Algier is going to get his start next week, so just keep an eye on that as it goes forward. I don't quite think he's going to get that many touches moving forward, but he is a threat in the passing game, and he did look like really good. And as much as I like to not like him, all he seems to do right now is...
You can't deny it.
I can't deny what he's doing right now, even though he's proven for like 9+ years straight that he couldn't do it. And last year, that's my thing, is, 8 years straight or whatever, he wasn't able to do anything. Then 1 year he comes out and he plays great. Yeah. So was that the outliner? Like, or is that the new normal?
He was supposed to be the running back the whole time.
Was last year the outliner year and now he's fantasy relevant, or was that the new normal?
Yeah.
And that's just who he is, and they weren't utilizing him.
Well, as long as they use him as a running back, he's gonna be there. He's gonna give you the points you need. And I don't think they're gonna move him back to wide receiver. Why are they gonna do that?
So next on the list, my eyes told me that Drake London is the #1 target moving forward going over there. He led the team in targets, he led the team in catches, and he led the team in yards. And Mariota looked a little better back there, you know what I mean? He didn't look too lost. So it did seem like they were going to be able to put a good offensive year together this year, a little more than what people might thought. And I do feel like he is going to be at the front of that. He's a huge body, 6'4". He kind of got lost because he got injured in preseason. So he came out, he looked really good, grabbed that catch, hurt himself, kind of got quiet, disappeared for a while, and what is he going to do? Kind of got shuffled down and pushed down a little bit, but I really do think he is going to emerge there as the #1, and he kind of proved it. Yeah. I felt like it. That's what my eye test showed.
And they say what was he? I don't know if was he a first round rookie or the high round rookie, the high pick rookies. They say they whether or not they produce, they put him on the field and they use them. You know what I mean? So he's gonna get his opportunities.
And he's big. And
that's what they've got. They have to use the draft capital that they can't just waste it. You know what I mean?
So I like him moving forward.
Yeah. Okay, mine is a little negative. It's not as positive as the last ones.
That's him right there. He likes to do a little bit.
I'm kind of negative on Najee this year. I mean, it's kind of hard. It kind of sounds like contradicting myself because I think he is gonna have a good year, but not as like you think he is. You know what I mean? He's not gonna be a top 5, maybe not even.
You're thinking top 15, something like that.
Something like that.
Pushing back to a startable player and not somebody you can rely on to carry you.
Yeah, and it hasn't. And for me, it's more has to do with the team that he's in the game situations and Mitchell Trubisky running that, and I don't think that he's gonna get enough offensive I guess they're not gonna have enough offensive plays, opportunities, you know what I mean? And that has nothing to do with him. The only thing that I have with him is that he's been getting hurt lately, you know what I mean? He just came off was it a Liz Frank injury they were saying it was, and now he came back and he injured, I believe it was, I can't remember how he got hurt. But he's hurt again, you know what I mean? And they're even saying that Jaylen Warren might even play this next game. So I don't know. He seems to be trending to get like a hurt quarterback, a hurt running back every year, you know what I mean? Even though he's been in, it hasn't been too long. That's why it's like it's my eye test. It could be wrong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like that's what I
what
see.
the eye test tells you.
Yeah, like I see something like I don't see good coming in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah, their offense did look, look too sharp, but
they are the picks for Steelers.
He is a great player. Though. He's a great dynamic athlete. So, don't expect too much of a drop.
Yeah,
I would say. So the last one for me, my eye test is gonna have to be that the Chiefs have yet to and may never emerge anybody as a wide receiver one. I mean, Patrick Mahomes said that you're gonna have a hard time picking. It's gonna swap out. And even though this week Juju Smith was the leading target in receivers, it's not gonna be crazy to think that next week it'll be Valdez-Scantling. The week after that, Sky Moore will flash, and you have Sammy Watkins there. And there's just a lot of guys with their mouths to feed. Patrick Mahomes is going to spread the ball around. Mm-hmm. He's going to do, what he does. And I just feel like you're not quite sure. I think all of those guys are going to have a really low floor and a really high ceiling every week, making it a little harder to predict which one's going to hit and which one's not.
I wouldn't want to touch that.
It's kind of scary in that aspect because you want to know, I want my guy to get all the targets.
Mahomes got like 30-plus points. He's throwing to somebody, you know what I mean? But still, I don't want them. I don't want to touch them. I don't know how that's working, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know how that works.
Exactly.
And then I got another negative one right here for Aaron Rodgers. Everyone's seen that game. I'm pretty sure everyone's seen that game yesterday. It was horrible coming from not only Rodgers, the whole franchise. You know what I mean? I didn't expect the Packers to ever play like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, this is a different era with Aaron Rodgers. It's not the same Packers that we're used to. You know what I mean? They're not the same winning all the time. You know what I mean? And Aaron Rodgers his receivers he doesn't have too many veteran receivers. I mean, he has Sammy Watkins, but he's really old. And then he got these young guys. Christian Watson just dropped like a 50-yard pass, and Aaron Rodgers was kind of pissed about it. But like everything surrounding him tells me that he's not gonna be elite this year. You know what I mean? And for Aaron Rodgers to not be elite, that is pretty like. Damn, we're heading towards a new era for this NFL. You know what I mean? The quarterbacks and stuff like that. Like, we can't believe it, but it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. And we're seeing it now, and like a lot of people like to nah, it's not happening. You know what I mean? But I think right now it's happening. I think it's happening.
For me, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it one more week before I jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
Especially like last year, he had a really bad week one against the Saints when they started the season. He came out and he just put up a complete dud. He told everyone to R-E-L-E-A-X, relax, and so he just. He's Aaron Rodgers, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he doesn't have Adams no more, though.
Yeah.
Last year he had Adams, so we'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and give him one more week. Adams is supposed to be back, that's supposed to be his guy. And I'm just going to wait off a week, and we'll go from there. And let's go ahead and just move on to the next segment, and we got sooner rather than later. So these are things that we think are going to happen sooner rather than later. Changing of the guards, things that you're gonna start to see more of a flow moving forward, and guys are gonna be moving up in the fantasy, relevancy, and some guys that means they're gonna have to be pushed down to make room for those guys to move up. So we'll go ahead and start that off with sooner rather than later. Go ahead.
All right, I got Khalil Herbert's gonna take over the starting position over Tyler Montgomery sooner rather than later. Tyler Montgomery, David Montgomery had 17 rush attempts, and only 26 yards. Khalil Herbert had 9 rush attempts, 45 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, the numbers are right there, and if you see it, watch the game too, it's obvious, you know what I mean?
Back to the eye test.
Yeah, back to the eye test. It's not the category, but I mean, it's there, you know what I mean? It's obvious. Anyone can tell you, you know what I mean? And
I think that breaks down to 1.3 yards per carry.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
that is a very, very low.
I mean, it was a horrible weather game, but I mean, Khalil Herbert had 9 carries for 45 yards. You know what I mean? He did it. He did something. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, like you said, when you watch him run, he's running with a purpose.
Yeah. I've never been too big on David Montgomery, even though he's been pretty good these past 2 years. I've never been big on him, and this is more talent. This is like, I knew this. Yeah, I knew he can't be a starting running back in the NFL. I knew someone was going to take over because he doesn't. I don't think he needs a little bit more, like, I don't know, like you said, like Khalil Herbert, when he runs, he hits the holes, you know what I mean? He's like bam, bam, bam. Like, he's really aggressive and physical when he's running, you know what I mean? I don't see that in David Montgomery anymore.
They still use him in the passing game, but it seems like Khalil Herbert's trying to catch some passes too. So it seems like Khalil, he is built to be a 3-down back, and I agree, and I do see him, be taking over that spot. So next, staying with the running backs, in the same format that we got going on. Bringing up, if you listen to the first podcast, you would have heard me mention a little bit of something like this. Well, I didn't make a big deal about it. That was in a segment, but I was talking about Nick's team and his running back combos, and I made a comment about A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones. And that'll just hold well right here that A.J. Jones will be the 1A to Aaron Jones 1B sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
He's just a younger, bigger guy who hits the hole hard. You know what I mean? He doesn't stop. He's huge. He's basically like Derrick Henry's cousin. He's just a big guy.
Yeah, he is.
So it makes, if you look at he got 10 carries to just 5 carries for Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had 10 total opportunities, 10 touches to 16 touches for A.J. Dillon. And this was in week 1. More importantly than all that, they were using A.J. Dillon when they were down late in the game, in the third quarter, when they were still trying to make a comeback. They weren't winning, and they had A.J. Dillon in the game. The time when you would think they put in Aaron Jones to be the safety blanket, the guy that Aaron Rodgers trusts, they have A.J. Dillon in there. And that says a lot to me moving forward. I feel like we're seeing a changing of the guard, and I feel like he'll be the 1A to his 1B sooner rather than later.
You can still start Aaron Jones.
Yeah. He's a nice 1B. You know what I mean? Still a 1B.
Okay.
You got another one for us?
Yeah, I got sooner rather than later. This is like one of my favorite guys of the year. Jalen Hurts will be in the same tier as Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. I mean, he was one of the highest scoring quarterbacks of the week last week, and he didn't even throw a touchdown pass.
That's right.
He didn't, and then when he does start throwing touchdown passes, he's gonna throw them to AJ Brown. You know what I mean? They looked amazing yesterday.
Of course, just splash AJ Brown there real quick.
AJ,
of course, he's on his team.
He looked a beast. So like, he could take it to the house for Jalen Hurts anytime. You know what I mean? And they have a really good offense. Their offensive line is really good, and I think just all around the Eagles it's like a positive outlook for the Eagles.
How many designed runs for him do you say?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
17.
Yeah,
he
had
13 or 17 rushes. I don't know. Where's Stevie at?
He's the
producer. Where are you at? I'm looking for Stevie. Look that up for me right
They call
here.
him the cheat code, the joystick. You know what I mean? He's like playing a video game, and everyone on the field are little boys and shit. That's how it looks. You know what I mean? But yeah, Jalen Hurts, you know what I mean? He should be doing it. The Eagles are a lot better this year too, so there's no reason not. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts.
All right, next we're going to jump into another category that we got. We're going to switch all these different topics and different categories up as we go, you know what I'm saying, week to week. We'll find the ones that stick and you guys like. But this next one is called bounce backs and repeats. People that we think are going to either bounce back off of bad performance, or they're going to repeat, whether that be a good or bad performance. You know, that's up to you, or that's up to us. So we'll go ahead. We'll start with the bounce back. I'm going to start this off. And I got Trey Lance is going to bounce back next week off of what was a very, very, very weird and slow and horrible game that you just want to throw out of the window. He had 10 fantasy points. You know, I'm not even going to go into any of the numbers of his throwing or anything like that and just throw it out the window because the game was a monsoon. Anybody who watched it knows, or if you've seen any highlights of the rainstorm, it was basically like playing just in water. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you didn't watch that game, then you wouldn't understand. You needed to watch that game to understand the stats are lying.
So you just have to throw all that away. But what you don't have to throw away is he had 13 design rushes. straight for him, that were set for him to rush. He's a dynamic athlete who runs the ball great. So even when he's going to have growing pains, he's going to have his ups and downs and his bad days with his throwing. His arm is going to be inconsistent. But he is going to give you a solid floor. I don't think he hits you anything near the 10 points. He just got you moving forward. I think he is going to be a strong, reliable fantasy player moving forward. And I think next week coming up, he bounces back in a big way. They go against Seattle.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a very good team right now.
The weather's going to be good.
The weather's going to be good. They're here in sunny California, baby.
Judge him after this game. Judge him after this game.
He's playing against Seattle. They gave up 110 yards last week on the ground. The Niners don't have Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell went down. So the running game is going to be some Jeff Wilson, some Trey Lance, and some Deebo Samuels.
That's a division game.
It's a division game. We want to win. We're coming hungry off of a bad loss. We want to wipe that taste out of our mouth. And go Niners. We're about to take that.
Yeah. And my bounce back guy he's from the same game from what he was talking about from last week is Darnell Mooney. We already talked about why we were throwing out everybody's stats that game because of the weather.
Throw it all out.
Yeah, it's horrible. Trust me. Okay, Darnell Mooney. He at the end of the season, he finished the season strong last year, and I think he's gonna. I had him for a big week 1. Obviously, there was the weather, but I think he's gonna. I think he's good for double digits every game.
We'll just call week 2, week 1.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah.
Everybody on the Niners and the Bears gets a week 2. Week 1.
Yeah, I think he's good for double digits and maybe like 8 targets a game. You know what I mean? He could possibly get a touchdown. You know what I mean? It's up to the offense and how they're running, but he's gonna get enough targets in a PPR format to produce for your team for sure. For as a I'll say a flex and maybe some days number 2 wide receiver, and there's no reason for that not to happen. You know what I mean? There's no one else there. Fucking, it's all. But I mean, again, it's up to.
And our 14-man league, it's definitely number 2. I doubt anybody's going to be able to throw DJ Moore in their flex for where they drafted him.
Yeah.
I know you. That's where you value him.
Mooney, yeah.
Or Mooney. Excuse me. Never mind. I take it back.
Mooney, yeah.
And you could put him there. I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's a flex, borderline maybe 2. You know what I mean? And he's the number 1 wide receiver for the team. And then Justin Fields. That's the only thing is Justin Fields, but. Justin Fields looks for him. If you go back to last year and look at the games and look at the stats, he looks at him, and I think he's gonna. We'll see next week, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be right. You know what I mean? Count me on that.
All right, my next one for a repeat is Drake London. You heard me talk about him earlier as being one of the eye tests, somebody that I liked. And, of course, 7 targets last week. You know, he's coming up this week playing against the Rams. Mm-hmm. I mean, they just got blown out of the water by the Bills last week. And Josh Allen was throwing all over him, and I understand that Mariota isn't exactly Josh Allen, but they're going to be throwing the ball. They're going to be throwing it a lot. Mm-hmm. Drake London's going to be there, and he's going to be big, and he's going to get a lot of those targets. So I like him to do a lot more of the same. Look for him to increase on the good start to week 1 that he had. Mm-hmm. I'm expecting him to do a lot better. And as the year goes on, I see him becoming a high-end wide receiver 2, mm-hmm. almost even a wide receiver 1. And definitely in our league might just jump up there, you know.
Yeah.
And a little teaser for another one I'm going to throw in there just real quick is DJ Moore, since I brought him up earlier. I think he's going to continue to slump with Baker Mayfield right there.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to give you a bonus one for the repeat.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I just feel like he just has a tough sledding. He doesn't have a great matchup, and Baker Mayfield just isn't exactly... I don't know. It's tough to bet on Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, there's something about
him.
And
DJ Moore, just feel like there's a lot of different people to go the targets, and they got to feed Christian McCaffrey. They didn't really utilize him last week. I feel like they're going to overcompensate for that this next coming week, and I just think that he'll get the same amount of targets, about 5 targets, but that's just not what you're looking for where you draft him.
He's supposed to be number 1 receiver.
Exactly. And he's more like, playing like a flex option. So that's what I see moving forward for him. But what about you for the repeats?
The repeats? I got Antonio Gibson. Yes.
Nice.
I think I was kind of down on him because of Brian Robinson and they drafted him. But since what happened to him, I mean, he has the number one role, and we already know what he does with the number one role. When he's healthy, he could put up 20 points like he did this past week. He played 64% of the snaps, 14 attempts, 58 yards, and he was 4 yards a carry. I mean, hopefully we could get up to 5, but I mean he got 8.
That's still good.
That's still good. Yeah.
Anytime you're in the 4 yards per carry, that's hitting first downs every 3 plays. So.
And he got 8 targets with 7 receptions for 72 yards. And,
Yeah.
he was there. He was basically one of the most utilized players on the team. I mean, he after all the season and everyone talking down on him, special teams and all of that, and he puts on that performance. That I mean, I know he's capable of doing that, but even I was low on him. You know what I mean? I guess we
laughed at him. Everything.
I guess everyone convinced me that I guess all the experts.
You know what we didn't consider? I think right now is the players that the command they have on their team. Okay. Around, like, now that they have an actual quarterback, Carson Wentz being added to that team, someone to spread the ball around, like, look at how much more dynamic their entire offense is. It seems like there's just multiple people that are now fantasy viable options. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, he was already able to do so much good things with the bad quarterback, you know? So now you got this quarterback who's able to sit back and put the ball in places and sling the ball around. It just creates more opportunities for whatever running back's back there. Mm-hmm. And however he got the gig, however he got the job, he's the one back there. And all he's doing is producing with it. So as much as we laugh at him.
Yeah, for what he did, there's no reason for anybody to be like, he's done, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
130 total yards from scrimmage. That's great, bro.
Yeah.
Anybody. Okay.
All right. So now after that segment, we got this next segment. It's all Bogart right here. Okay. We got Bogart's hot takes. He's gonna drop a couple of hot takes on you that, like, some things that he's seen that he believes are relevant. They matter, you know, to basically the whole season. Just some fly shit from Bogart, you know, that you might not hear nowhere else, you know. Just from him.
One of my hot takes is that Mariota is going to make the Falcons fantasy relevant. Himself and the receivers and the running backs. He put on a really good performance yesterday. I didn't know he was capable of doing that still. He had 12 rushing attempts for 72 yards and 1 touchdown, 6 yards per carry. I mean, his 33 for 20 incompletions. 215 yards. He didn't have a passing touchdown, but with those rushing yards, I mean, it don't matter. But this is what the Falcons needed because years ago they had Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan's. I think he's fucking he's legendary. You know what I mean? But he wasn't really like, he's basically a turtle. You know what I mean? He's a sitting duck. He can't. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna throw it away, or it's check down. You know what I mean? Now you got Marcus Mariota. And he's able to scramble a little bit. The guys are going to be able, like Drake London's going to be able to try to get off his receiver and get a little bit open on a broken route or something like that. Or he's going to be able to take it to the house for a touchdown, at least probably 50 yards. I'm guessing at least 50 yards rushing a game. That's the floor right there for him. So like that's pretty surprising to me because I wasn't touching none of the Falcons, and now I would consider it. Let's see, and then Joe. Okay, and the next one we're gonna talk about Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
What do you got on Joe Burrow? What's your hot take on Burrow?
He threw 4 turnovers, bro. I don't know about him. Fucking 4 turnovers, but it don't fucking matter, dude. That dude fucking tore it up. Like seriously, he fucking. Let me pull this up. He got 4 turnovers, and he still put up, I'm pretty sure, a 20-plus point game.
22 points.
22-point game with 4 interceptions. He even had 6 rushing attempts for 47 yards. I didn't know that.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, and he got sacked 7 times too. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
like
I don't really have to boast up on Joe Burrow and tell you why he's great. Besides Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. There's almost won the Super Bowl last year. But yeah, pretty much Joe Burrow is
fantasy relevant.
Yeah,
even with all of that, it doesn't matter.
He's bulletproof. You know what I mean? He's foolproof.
Throw as many
Dude,
picks
yeah,
that you want,
I don't
you're
care
still
what's
gonna walk out with
I don't
20
care what's
plus
happening,
fantasy points.
who you're playing, what's gonna. I don't even care if he was in that Chicago game the other day. Joe Burrow's gonna do it, dude.
Bogart's on Tates, right there, no matter what. He's going to get you fantasy points. You heard it here first. If Bogart's telling you Joe Burrow's going to put fantasy points on your team's roster, then you need to go out there and get Joe Burrow onto your roster. Make your trades, do what you got to do, but he's guaranteed locked in money for you. You heard it right here. Okay, since we're on that, let's go on to our bold picks, our bold predictions of the week. Last week we issued with some bold predictions. Ones of the year for the whole year since it was the first episode, and then I gave you one for the week. You're going to give us one again this week. We'll both get one. Yours for the year started out well.
Yeah,
you said Jalen Hurts is going to be the number one quarterback at the end of the year. And he started out nice, got 24 fantasy points. He's up there in the top. I don't know what he finished, like top 8 or something.
Something like that. No touchdowns, 24 points.
With no touchdowns, so he's right there on pace, looking good, and that was a nice call. Mine was also pretty good. I went with Amon-Ra St. Brown to finish in the top 12 receiver. And he started out great, 19 fantasy points, a lot of targets, a lot of catches. I expect it to keep going. They're going to be playing from behind a lot. Even though they weren't really playing from behind that much, they were in the game, And they're favored they haven't been favored in forever. They're favored this week against the Commanders. So, that is a nice little bold prediction.
Okay.
So, my bold prediction is I'm going to go with Rex Burkhead is going to outscore Rashard Penny in fantasy football this week. Now, I know Rashard Penny just came off, looked great. I'm not saying that because I think he's not a great player. He's going to do horribly bad. They just have a tough matchup against a really upset 49ers this week. And Kenneth Walker is coming back, so I don't know exactly. I do think he'll just be the backup. They should not go 50-50 timeshare with how good Rashard Penny looked running the ball with purpose, But that being said, Rex Burkhead is going to be a lot. We're in a full-point PPR league. He's a receiving machine. He's really good out of the backfield. He's on the Texans, who are going to be playing from behind throughout the whole year most of the time. And this week, especially, they're playing against the Broncos. And if you listen to Vegas and those odds, they have them a huge favorite. They're supposed to just, come back strong after. Their defense looked good. It wasn't their fault they lost the game this past week. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be able to put up good D. They should be playing from behind, and that's going to make Rex Burkhead be the one that's getting more of the touches than Pierce. Pierce didn't even... He was in a game script where Pierce was supposed to be the guy to get all of the stuff. They were up. They were playing from the lead. He should have been getting the rock. They were still favoring Rex Burkhead. So the coach said that they're going to try to get Pierce more involved, be cautious about that. But they also said that they planned on having him heavily involved before the year started, and that didn't happen in week 1. So for now, I'm going off of what I see, what I know in a full PPR league, and I like Rex Burkhead this week with his matchup more than I do Rashard Penny against the Niners. So that is my bold pick of the week.
Okay, my bold pick of the week. I got Carson Wentz being a top 5 quarterback. Surprising 29 points. I know he played against the Jaguars, but he's playing against another defense that's not about in the same category as the Jaguars. 29 points last Sunday. 41 attempts, 27 completions, 313 yards, 4 touchdowns. He threw 2 interceptions, but Carson Wentz throws interceptions, you know what I mean? We know that. So, I mean, he's sometimes iffy or not, but I think this week he has a good matchup against to repeat against the Lions. You see, he only got sacked 1 time. That's pretty. I thought the Commanders would probably be a more not really good. I thought the whole team was going to be. It's like the Falcons. What I thought of the Falcons, I thought the Commanders would probably be something like that. But with Carson Wentz, he turned it around. You know what I mean? Because they were talking down about him in Indianapolis, saying that he's not really that good of a passer. You know what I mean? And then this first game, he comes in and he pretty much tore it up, you know what I mean? He got Curtis Samuel, the rookie Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin is even.
Terry
McLaurin is better than both of them, but both of those guys tore it up more.
They're spreading the ball around.
So
He's out there,
And you got Antonio
like
Gibson. I mean, he's 20. We just talked about him. He got 20 points. So like the Commanders and Carson Wentz are going to be a good this fantasy season, and I think Carson Wentz is going to be with all of his weapons, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback this week for sure. That's my word. That's my word. That's my
bold
word.
predictions. Okay. So we're pretty much done with the episode. You know, we try to keep it short as we can. I know we get carried away. We're still a little sloppy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, work with us here. We'll get a lot better. The content, we'll keep it moving. You know, we'll try to get our graphics up at some point. Shit like that popping off. You know, we're real raw. We're the Stoner League.
Yeah.
So that's how we roll. But we got our picks of the week. Still Knowledge's picks of the week. We're going to end it like we do every episode with Knowledge's picks of the week. Shout out to everyone that was on my list last week that won. Congratulations to the few of you that were not on my list that did win. I went 3-3 so I 50%, you know, not a good start to my picks. It was a weird fluky start, but I have more of a gauge of the way things are going this year with the players, I would think, for the most part. So we'll go ahead and start off with Cal Al. He's going to get himself a win. Then we got Just Win Baby. And then we got Swift and Changeable.
Yeah.
We got T Munoz. You know, he's looking to go 2-0 on his way. He's trying hard. We got
Nick.
Baby Blunt right now making himself onto the list for the
Come on, we gotta
first
get to
time.
that bowl, Baby
What
Blunt.
up, Baby Blunt?
gotta get to that
You
bowl.
made it. Go get yourself that victory. We got Before Zaya, you know, coming through with a pretty solid squad. Outranking, you know, outscoring some points, gonna get himself a win. And of course, as always, you know, yours truly, I'm gonna take out the Jeffersons this week, you know.
David.
R.I.P. the Cochino boy.
Cochino David.
He's dirty. You're gonna have to go do dirty things to take his mind off of the dirty beating I'm gonna give him. He's just a dirty man. So on that note, you know what I mean? I want to say cheers to everybody. California Stoners League. We're gonna end this bitch with the fucking joint. Also, you know how we do. You know it? But yeah. Which is hurt, man. What are you gonna do? He's not gonna play this week. What are you gonna do?
Jamal
You
Williams.
got Jamal Williams. Shout out to both for getting Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams. I scooped him up right away, dude. I couldn't believe it too when I seen it. I was like, I thought it was the keepers, the other league. I was like, what the fuck? And
How do I
looked up.
get it? How do I
Oh
get it?
yeah, I was like, what the? Oh no, he's there, bro. All right. And then I had to wait till Wednesday and